Tracy here with FootPrint Tarot. Couple of minutes after 9:30, but that's okay. Oh, how is everyone going? Oh, wow. I have a lot going on at the moment. Look, I treated myself. I got some nails put on because I'm a nail biter, but I had some put on about 3 or 4 years ago as well and stuff. But I thought, get some nails put on. So I have fingernails. Treated myself to that and a spa pedicure yesterday. So mani-pedi I treated myself to. Hi, Steve. How are you? I'm just, adjusting to having nails. So, yeah. This is going to be fun. I go at putting earrings in. I always have trouble with earrings. Anyway, got to find my big dangly earrings. Might even buy myself a few at some stage to go and buy myself some new ones as well. But anyway, I've got some lovely big flowery dangly earrings around somewhere. I can't find them. I've got no idea where they are. So, hi Steve, hi Shelby, hi Apple. In about 10 minutes or so, the camera's going to go off for just about 10-20 seconds while James brings me in a fresh coffee. Normally I take a while to go through coffee, but he made me one not that long ago and I've almost finished it. Hi Annie. Hi Eleanor. Hello to all the lurkers. Hi Eleanor. Interesting week as far as Israel and Iran are concerned. It'd be interesting to see if the US will stick by their statement that if Israel pushes things into a full-fledged conflict, they will not help. It will not help. So that will be interesting. And the UK, I think, are about ready to say something similar. Hi, Lisa. Patricia Francine, are you there? Hey. Everyone's obviously seeing the comments just a wee bit before I am. Oh, yes, please send out prayers, healing energy to Lady G. She was the real inspiration to me in the early days of me doing my channel. So prayers and healing energy to Lady G, to Ganga, and all the best for her surgery and her healing. Yeah. Apple, Denise, hi. Oh, thanks. Yes, it's very cute. I love this one. I love wearing the scarf to the side, reminiscent of the 1920s, I guess. But yeah, got a little bit of hair going. Whoop! So we'll put it up there. Make it look like a feather, but it is actually my hair. Oh, Is she in trouble? Lisa Huckabee Sanders. Let's have a look at her. Is she going to be prosecuted? It's going to be fun seeing how I handle the cards with nails. But, yesterday, hubby dragged me down the freeway to a friend's and to help with his television. And one of the things we wanted halfway achieved. I forgot the password. But the other thing the other app he wanted, he couldn't actually, we learned later, he couldn't actually put on his television because of the age of his telly. But, yeah. Anyway, so Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So I got home. I was like, oh, so we had some lunch, and then I got James to drop me over at a little centre here. Not much in it. There's a Woolies and all that, but there is a nail place. So I got some nails done. So yes, there is something different about me today. And I got a spa pedicure done. That was an adventure first because they have these steps that you have to hop up on, and then they have the seats and the spa basins in, because the people doing the pedicures, it's got to be at a certain best height, good height for them. So they helped me get up there. That was an interesting bit of an adventure. And then James came about 10 minutes before they finished the pedicure. I called him up and said, look, come over now. You should be here, but when it's finished. And he and the young guy who worked there, they stood either side of me because there's no way I could hop down on my own. And they sort of lifted, and I sort of hopped down like some sort of ballerina. Porcerina. But yeah, it was nice to just spoil myself a little bit, and I did try to every now and then. Usually I get a spa reflexology massage. I'm going to get one of them in a couple of weeks. State you don't need a stand. But yeah, I got news that my work was due to end in the middle of May, but they've extended it. No finish date as yet. So I'm going to continue working 3 days a week, which is good. Got a continuation of work. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Now, what's going on with her? Because I haven't seen anything on her. The re-lectern gate. What's the re-lectern gate? Which Trump trial are we talking about here? The guy who set himself on fire outside the courthouse the other day. It didn't have anything to do with Trump's trial, they're saying. It was his protest was about conspiracy theories. It wasn't, Trump's trial wasn't the cause of it. It was just where he chose to do it. So let's pray that he comes through. Horrible. What sort of state must you be in to do something like that? So let's pray for this man to make the best he can, and pray for the best for this gentleman. The battle that must go on in his head every day are just frightful to think of. His flatulence is going to clear out the room. Thanks, Annie. Yeah. So what is lectern gate? She apparently spent $19,000 on a lectern to hide allegations of her spending the money on a girls' trip abroad with her friend. Okay. Ooh, lectern gate. Is she going to... And Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yeah. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Does prosecution lie in her future? Let's have a look. The Queen of Wands. This is her. She can be very charismatic. She's got temper. We've got the pyramid in the background here, pyramids in which connection. And she really believes she has a right other people don't have to do what she does, simply because of her family, who her family are. If anyone else did this, she'd be calling for prosecution. We're asking the question, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, does prosecution is there prosecution? Now her challenge, it's the King of Cups. It's not Biden. Her challenge is keeping things calm. She believes that everyone in the state loves her. They don't. Where is she? She's in Arkansas, isn't she? It's getting wise counsel. She's getting dodgy advice. And I'm going to take the fish's inspiration. So figuring a way out of this. But I'm going to take a leap from something from the Lenormand, in which the fish represents money. There are so many other instances of this. She's going to have trouble hiding this. There's a real big investigation coming. Keeping the lid on things. She's really having trouble finding ideas on how to get through this. What is the advice for her? Hope for the best. Basically, that's all she can do. And prepare for the worst. Because this is a big thing. The little birdie on top of the tree is a representative of freedom. The best here is her not going to jail. base of this. She's done this before. Yeah. Bad decisions about money. There we go. The Four of Coins. The base of this reading is her bad decisions about money. Yeah. The outcome here is the Hermit. This is a very harsh lesson to learn, but also a spotlight being shone on things that she once kept hidden. And she's got some lessons to learn here. It's also isolation. She's going to find herself isolated. Well, she's going to want to hide, but the spotlight is going to follow her. So what else about this outcome? We've got the Hierophant. So this started out as 2 court cards, which is and then a major arcana, then a minor arcana, but one that says at the base of this is bad decisions about money, excesses, then what's going high. And then we've got the Hierophant. This is institutionalized canon, and more coming out. Hi, Grammy D. Oh, wow. 10 of Cups, the end of a cycle. This is the Cup of Family as well. And good fortune for the family. I don't think we're going to see another Sanders or another Huckabee in high office. I don't know if she's got siblings or anything, but I don't think that family, it's at the end of a cycle of this golden time for them. And yeah, here's another end of the cycle. Not the good end. Yeah. So is she going to be prosecuted? Yes or no? Let's have a look. This is going to be, yeah. Will she have to resign? This is yes. A yes card. And it's also, I asked yes or no, she was going to be prosecuted. So yes. Could be on 9 counts. Yeah. She might see her term through, but I think she's going to get caught up in a huge clear out with the Republican Party.
Coffee, baby.
Yep. Hubby.
Do a bit of a blackout for me for a moment.
Yeah, and now I'm just going to stop the camera for a minute so hubby can bring in some coffee. You know, he's shy. But you will hear him as he says hello, okay?
Hello. How you doing? Come on. You all right?
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, darling.
Thank you. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Well, really?
What?
You could have at least put some clothes on. No, just put the cup down there.
Sure. There you go. Give me a kiss. Okay, enjoy.
No, he wasn't naked. He had clothes on. He's just camera shy. Everyone says hello. No, he had clothes on, but you know how he's camera shy. You've seen some of the things he'll do to avoid being on camera. Remember the ghost? Which is one of the funniest things ever. When was it? It was a few years ago now. God, it might even be as long as 5 years ago, but I was still out in the dining area. and yeah, I'll have a look if she'll see a term out then. And he wanted to avoid being on camera, but he needed to go out to the back. So he covered himself up in that light covered quilt thing. floated through like a yeah. And Hella's thing and your daughter. Tell them both I wish I said hello, and hubby as well. Is Geek not well? Oh, well, let's send out. Yeah, I thought he'd had both eyes done by now. But anyway, if he's not well, let's just, as always, send out best wishes. So, is Sarah Huckabee Sanders gonna see her term out? Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, prosecutor. Ace of Pentacles with the gap in the hedge, making mistakes. Prosecutor. Oh, hello, as Linda G would say. Look at this. She possibly is not going to see her term out. They might have to have a special election. They have a special election. Will a Democrat win? Oh, yes. Here we go. Will they impeach her? This was upside down. I said, will they impeach her? So that's a sign that they possibly will. And they're going to have quite a few things to do it with. So she could be impeached. Let's have a look. Okay. That'll be interesting. Anyway, let's move on. I mean, if she gets arrested and charged, they're going to have to impeach her. So, the thing in the Middle East with Israel and Iran, is that going to escalate? And also, it's been expressed in, fears have been expressed in the Israeli government that the International Criminal Court is going to issue an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. Will that happen? We'll look at that first. Over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That is a big, yes, it's a very real possibility. I don't think he can do that. It's just instant coffee, Annie. Yeah. So yes, that's a big institution, and that's a big. Well, yeah, there's a real possibility there. Okay. Will things escalate between Israel and Iran? Israel want the last word here. To attack one of the most historical cultural centers in Iran, it's just... So here we have a small celebration. They're crowing about a victory at the moment. Oh dear. The Queen of Cups, but it's come out reversed. Unstable, smothering. What they're thinking is that, from what I've read, that everyone's still focused on Gaza, so they think they can get away with this stuff. But that's not necessarily true. Are things going to escalate? Quite possibly. This is not a good magician to have. Manifest. So neither party is admitting that it happened, really. But this is... all of the ingredients are there for this to escalate, and it possibly could happen. Yeah. He said he won't. That's the other question I wanted to ask. And I'll get the pendulum for this. Guides, truth and compassion. Now, will Biden keep his word about not providing aid to Iran if they go to war? Not providing aid to Israel if they go to war. Will Biden keep his word? It swung immediately into yes. So yeah, he meant it. I saw a little story. I didn't have a lot of time to read into it, but there was the headline was basically, if Ukraine falls and Russia wins, will the US send troops to Europe to defend the rest of Europe? Yes. Will Israel get any support from the US if they declare war on Iran? No. I just thought I'd throw it in there. Now to Joy. I'll ask the question a third time in a different way. Will the US provide military support to Israel if they declare war on Iran? No, it swung in the no again. Okay. To Joy. Let's have a look at the Joy. Larger pendulum, not in the box. Let's find it. Where is it? Must be in the drawer here somewhere. I have a stone pendulum too, and I can't find it. Oh, wow. Months. That's pretty. Use it as a pendulum. I don't think it's as accurate as the other two, but you know, it's very pretty. Okay, let's get this pretty thing. Wow. Wow. Again, all the best to Lady G. Okay, when will the Joy... Will the Joy be fired in 2024? Yeah, no, it's... Hang on. Okay, so is it hanging straight now? It wasn't hanging straight before. It was on a bit of an angle. Will the Joy be fired in... Will the Joy be fired in 2024? It says yes. Okay, so now we've got the bumps. When in 2024 will he be fired? settled into November. I mean, it could be May. It could be November. Let's use the other. Hi, Sherry. Yeah, we did a reading on that. He's probably going to, the International Criminal Court probably going to issue an arrest warrant for him for Gaza. Let's see. When in 2024 will DeJoy be fired? Baba, what are you saying? You don't want him to be fired? You're a cat. What would you know? She knocked the pendulum. So when in 2024 will DeJoy be fired from the US Post Office? Is this what you want? Ooh, woo. Come here. Third time's a charm. Or fourth time, really. Hi, Eleanor. When in 2024 will DeJoy be fired from the US Post Office, Postal Service? Now, the other pendulum's indicating June or December. So, yeah. Oh, US Coast Guard. Well, that. Now, there's a military branch, the US Coast Guard. It's an honourable profession. Of course, you're worried. Okay, I'm going to do a pendulum for Shelby and thing. Okay, so will Shelby's son be okay in the US Coast Guard? Yes. He'll be fine. Shelby? Let's go with that. So the pendulum said he will be okay in the Coast Guard. So let's hope that. Let's take that as a positive sign. It's not. People often think it's a cruisy branch. of the military, but it's not cruisy. It's tough. It's a lot of training. They do a lot of training. The rescue swimmers, of course, do. Oh, who knows how much training. And it is dangerous. It can be dangerous work, but he will be okay. And I think he will thrive. Okay, we haven't done single card reads for a couple of weeks. So how about we do some single card reads? Okay. It is, but I do think he will. Will he get accepted? Let's have a look. Will Shelby something be accepted to the Coast Guard, to the US Coast Guard? Yes. Okay. I'm just gonna reset my scarf. Reset the scarf. Ah! See, it's the true me. Ah! Ooh. Oh dear. Yep, that's me. All over the place. Okay, let's get the pen and pencil. Pen and paper. Arr! That was me. Yep. I got a flash of a dark-haired girl, very slim, thing, helping her onto a boat. Don't know when. That long dark hair, that sort of, yeah. So there you go. Maybe a bit of romance. Okay, who would like a single card read? And we're going to get the Angel Wisdom Tarot deck today. Patricia Franchino, Eleanor, Glenda Setter. Hello. Now, you joined us first time a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? I hope you're enjoying it. Will Alina Hobbs keep her law license? Well, we'll do that one a little bit later. Remind me, Steve. Annie. You're in for a couple more names. Thank you very much. Just do one. Will Alina Hobbs keep her law license? I'll do a card cut. 10 of Wands. Victory after struggle. Working too hard, too many hours. She needs a balance. Yes, but it's going to be really hard, and she's probably going to have a few health problems. Hi, Jenny Penny. She's going to have to work hard to keep it. Okay. Oh, that is going to be a huge boost for him. Yes. I'll do these cards first, then we'll have a look at Aileen Cannon. Okay. Okay. So, first card, Patricia Franzino. Guards of the highest truth and compassion, please guide me in finding a card for Patricia. Wow. You've got the 10 of Wands too. So, work-life balance. It's something you have been working on getting done. It's been a bit more of a struggle than you thought, but I think it's finally going to happen. But after it does, you do need to slow down a bit, my darling. Part of the reason it's been harder to get done than you imagine is that the stress involved has sort of slowed you down. It is okay to let other people take on some of the burdens. Okay? It's because you've been trying to do it all on your own. It is okay to let other people take on a couple of aspects of this and things, and it will work out. So people have been take up their offers, okay? Patricia, and then rest. Take a well-earned break. You deserve it. Often I get people going, oh, but I'm retired when I say work-life balance, and they'll go, I'm retired. Yes, you may be retired, but your pattern hasn't. I'm sure I hope it makes sense, Patricia. Eleanor McCarthy, my darling Eleanor. The sun. It's a time of great joy for you. Some magical epiphanies, brilliant epiphanies. The words Indian summer come to mind, which of course is a term about a warmer period of weather. usually towards the end of September before the cold comes in. Definitely an angel of light and mercy with you, my darling. Do not worry about if things will work out or not. They will. Okay? Do not worry about those things that you have been worrying about the people you have been worrying about. Things will work out for them, my darling. I've got brilliant epiphanies here. It's got that will lead to magical opportunities, but it can be, epiphanies can be about many things. Okay? So, Eleanor, do not stress. Do not worry about the future of those you love. Okay? Oh, yeah, I should be able to read on Aileen Cannon, Annie. So, yeah. Glenda Setter. What's going on there? Strength. This is the first card I've pulled for Glenda because she's new. She's only been with us for a couple of weeks. And the card I pulled for you, my darling, is strength. And what this card says about you is that you are stronger than you know, Glenda. And just know that forgiveness is not weakness. Okay? Doesn't mean you have to go all buddy again with people who have hurt you. And it's not weak to say, look, I forgive you. It's done. It's over with. But that doesn't mean I want you in my life. There's nothing wrong with that. You are so much stronger, and the strength that you have built within yourself is it's partly, people see you as, because you are kind and because you do forgive, people see you as a bit of a soft target, but you're not. And I do feel that there's something coming up pretty soon in which you are going to show your strength. People are going to be surprised. And it's not that you don't show this side of yourself at all, but it has been a while and people have forgotten. You are Glenda. You raw girl. Okay? You let people know. And show people who you really are, how strong you really are. Because they've been underestimating you. Hi, Celtic Seer. I'm sorry, I just got. Yeah. Yeah. Steve. Steve. How are you? How's your mum? Oh. Her nephew. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about this. This is about working together. Mm. It will be okay. She will be distressed, of course, but you know, have some of the nursing staff around, or one of the nursing staff around to help and stuff. And I'm sorry for your loss. But in other realms, with the card, the Three of Earth, Three of Pentacles, as I don't know what you do that's creative, but I can see you doing more of it and starting to be recognized for it. Continuing your creative endeavors, and you will be recognized for it, possibly even paid for it in the end. Whatever it is you do, continue, okay? Because you are good at it, and you deserve recognition, and you will get it if you continue doing it. Annie W. Thanks, Annie. Annie, protect what you have created and be prepared. Never give up. Okay? Ask your angels for help. You're almost there, my darling. Don't give up on it. Keep going. Okay? You've worked hard to get where you are. Keep going. Do not give up. Okay? Jenny Penny. You've got the Ace of Wands. A great opportunity. It's about opportunity to be creative. Build up of energy. And an opportunity for you to shine. Take it, grasp it, run with it even. Okay? What a fantastic start to a new phase for you. Okay? I hope that makes sense, Jenny Penny. But yeah. Okay. I'm going to do a quick reading on Aileen Cannon, and then I'm going to turn things to the Southern Hemisphere. Hi, Sabrina Fell. I'll be doing a few more single card reads before we leave, okay? Before I wrap up today. So if you haven't put your hand up and you want to, you can do that when I call for the single card reads again, okay? So I'm still working out the fingernails. I went and got a set of fingernails yesterday. I mean, of course, I had fingernails, but I got some acrylics put on just to spoil myself. And yeah, nice, modest ones, not too long or anything like that. Thank you, Shelby. And remember, I do readings. I mean, if you like what you get from a single card, imagine what you would get from 1 hour with me. So, yeah. Thanks, Shelby. You can email me. I charge $30 US for an hour, and it is face-to-face. I can do email reading. They take quite a bit longer. So I charge, there's a lot of work in them. So I charge like a little bit extra for an email reading. I charge $35. But if you want a reading, it's an hour and it's $30 US. I use PayPal, and yeah, and you can email me. Like I said, I can do email. I can do emails, you know, write it all down and all that and picture it, but that takes quite a bit of work, so I charge a little bit more. Okay. Aileen Cannon. Nine of Pentacles. This is her in all her autonomous glory, sitting on her bench. Reading away, not a care in the world. Oh, this is the institution. This is the court, the 11th Circuit. And he asked if you didn't see, is she going to do something that finally gives Jack Smith the ammunition for the 11th Circuit to get rid of her? Five of Wands, conflict, debate, discussion. The Eight of Pentacles. Hasn't learnt enough. And the Page of Pentacles. She's not half as smart as she thinks she is. That Hierophant. Yeah, I do think that she is heading for a 4. But I don't know. One yes or no card. I'm going to cut the deck. Yes or no, will the 11th Circuit get rid of her? Five of Pentacles. She'll be out in the cold. That's a yes. Okay. When? I can't tell you. We're having, as I mentioned before, the turn in Indian summer before, which was a late burst of heat. We cooled down for a little, and we've had a burst of heat. But I think we're going to be heading May. I think it's, and I hope that people weren't offended by me using that term. It's just, yeah. if you were, I do apologise. It wasn't any, insult intended or anything. It's just, but yeah, I think it's going to start cooling down over the next couple of weeks. We're in the last 2 weeks of April, so I do think it'll cool down. Okay, now I'm going to turn matters to the Southern Hemisphere. Australia, we have developed an autonomous submarine drone. It looks like a giant lunchbox, but it's completely unmanned. It costs quite a bit to develop, and we're going to make 11 more. We have a lot of territorial water, a lot. We are an island continent. We are an island nation, and a big one. China is not happy. China is not happy with us at all. And of course, then there's the AUKUS business with Japan joining as a second-tier partner, and possibly Canada. So are tensions between Australia and China going to get worse? And we're especially talking about expanding our reach back out into the Pacific to start driving China out. The Nine of Wands. Yes, there's going to be a need for vigilance. He did. It had nothing to do with him, but it was just the venue he chose because it was a courthouse. He had pamphlets spouting conspiracy theories and all that. It wasn't anything to do with Trump. Anyway, Australia and China, 7 of Cups, there's certainly going to be efforts to gaslight and hide things and manipulate. Six of Wands. This is a validation and a victory, and I do think that it might be for Australia. It's this victory for Australia, whatever it is. Let's have a look at Line Strider Dick. Yes, we've already said a prayer for him. Is this a victory for Australia? This is yes. Came out reversed. So normally it's a 7 card, but it came out reversed, so that's a yes. And it's about China, it's us making China aware that they're not going to continue to get away with what they've been doing in the Pacific. Okay. Validation. Will they be able to establish, will China be able to establish a foothold in Papua New Guinea? That's another, and the Philippines as well, they're troubled areas. And King of Swords. This is Australia, military. We have much more military might than people think, actually. Our military is going to be stepping up in the region with the King of Swords there. This is the Knight of Cups. Negotiation I'm getting here. But Nine of Swords. We have to be careful not to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. We have to be careful in our actions. Is New Zealand going to join us in stepping up? Six of Swords. Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel here with New Zealand. They're going through some tough times. And then they might be... So in a little while, I think. I do think New Zealand will join us in some form. They won't join AUKUS, of course, because of their anti-nuclear stance. But but if China attacks Australia, New Zealand will help defend Australia. Knight of Wands. Yeah, very clear message. We will act and defend and surge in defence. Yeah. Let's just hope he finds some peace, Annie. Yeah. So, but yes, there's a bit of a bumpy road for Australia with regards to China, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Let's ask, shall we? Will Biden do something to help address the problems of the mentally ill? We all need, every country needs to do more. Page of Pentacles. There's going to be an opportunity for him to step up and do something. And I do feel he will take it and work with it. An opportunity to start a process, because this is the page. It is a foundation card. So there will be opportunity for him to lay a foundation. And I do feel he will step up and take it. Oh, no, they went into Fiji. When did they go into Fiji? Page of Wands. Will Australia do something? Again, yes, there's a conversation happening. We have to do more. We're the only hemispherical geopolitical power. in the southern hemisphere. We have to do more. We have to support more. We have to show our teeth. You can't go from one extreme to another. Have to help make the right choices to help secure the area. Yes, there are going to be some changes in the region. Hope changes for the better. Okay. We've got 10 more minutes before I wrap up for the day. So if you would like a single card read, put your hand up. Celtics here. Sabrina fell. Yeah. Good night, my darling. Love and the light, kind of light be with you, my darling. Bye-bye. Hi, Constance Campbell. Lovely to see you. Well, yeah, you have to occasionally, don't you? So who else would like a reading? Single card read. I'm sorry, your mum's not well, Sabrina. She passed. Oh, Sabrina. A card flew out, actually, when I asked about your mum, and I was shuffling, and a card flew out, Sabrina. So I'm going to take it that it's from your mum, because we asked about your mum, Sherry, and she passed, hey, but a card flew out of the deck when I was shuffling, and it is the 8 of Swords, or the 8 of Wands. The illusion of entrapment. A lack of self-confidence makes you feel helpless. Being afraid to take action. Take responsibility for your life now. I get that I feel like this is a message for you, and it's like, because I'm not a medium, my darlings, I am not a medium. When people ask about it, I use the cards, and it's the cards that tell me something. And I feel like it's your mum saying, don't trap yourself into this cycle. You are stronger than you think, and you can break the cycle. And it's time for you to do so. So whether you're in a cycle of grief or whatever cycle you've been in lately, your mum says, I feel like it's a message to say you are strong enough, you can break this. But also just accept that it's up to you to break it. Nobody else can do it for you. So I hope that makes sense, Shelby. So, not Shelby, Sabrina. Okay. You're stronger than you think, but you're the one who's going to have to take the action to do it. Nobody can do it for you. So, yeah. Okay. Celtic steer. Celtics here. Wow. It's time to make a choice, Celtic. I got a picture of you like with a wind machine just blowing away all the mist and the clouds and all the crap that's just surrounding the picture. So, okay. The crap surrounding the choice is other people, voices and opinions. Mentally, if not physically, tell them to get stuff, back off, mind their own business. They might mean well, but they are clouding the issue. You're going to have to tell people to back off or just mentally brush away what they say. And it will be much, much easier for you to make a choice. Procrastination and overanalyzing is not going to help this situation. You have to step back, have one really clear look at the issue, and then make your choice. Okay? The thing is, with people, they mean well and they say, oh, you should consider this and you should consider that. And that just adds to what your mind's turning over. No, it's a pretty simple, clear choice in the end. You just need to brush away all those other voices of people's opinions and stop overanalyzing it, and you will make the right decision. Okay? Sabrina fell. Look, I'm going to do you another card because that was quite extraordinary when that card came out when we were talking about your mum. And but that was an extraordinary circumstances. This is the Knight of Cups, the wish come true card. So if you listen to what your mum said about breaking that cycle, the things that you're hoping will happen, or the improvements you're hoping will happen in your life will happen. Okay? So that's a quick follow-up. I know usually I only do one card, but the other card was an extraordinary circumstances. So Sabrina, definitely listen to your mum. And yes, things will work out. Constance Campbell. Oh, you've got the same card that the message. You've got the Eight of Wands too, which is the Eight of Swords, which is the card of feeling like you're trapped, you're backed into a corner, you're not sure which way to go. Trust in yourself. I'm getting the message. Constance. Trust in yourself. Okay. The pathway is pretty clear. Once you let go of self-doubt and don't let yourself be trapped by other people's opinion of where you should go. It's a little bit similar to the message I got for psychics, for Celtics here. That it's a little bit different in that you've let other people's voices telling you, oh, you'll never get, this is never going to work out, this won't happen, that won't happen. You just don't have the skills or the strength or any. Get rid of all those people. Tell them to, look, if people are feeding you that sort of message, tell them to piss off, Constance, okay? Tell them to piss off because you don't need that. Don't let other people undermine you. Take a deep breath. Take another clear look and the pathway will be there for you. Okay? You just need to take that first step. So there are people doing that to you, Constance. Well, tell them to piss off. You don't need them. I think they might need you in some way, and they feel the best way to keep you close to them is to make you feel like you can't get along without them, but you can. And tell them to piss off. Now, hang on. My thing with tarot, of course, is guidance, not instruction. If you don't want to tell them to piss off, if you want to handle it in a different way, you can, okay? It just, yeah, because it is about guidance, not instruction. So, yeah. Sherry French. So, yeah, I can say tell them to piss off, but it is your choice. My guidance is that, you should, it's a good time to clear them away, but you don't have to do that. Sherry French, you've got the Four of Pentacles, one extreme to another. It's really, really important that you manage your money well over the next couple of months, okay? It is a good time to put money aside without having to deprive yourself. So you can treat yourself, but no extremes. But, yeah. But it's really, really, I just got the message, it's really important for the next couple of months that you are very sensible with your money. But don't deprive yourself of simple pleasures, but don't overdo it if you do treat yourself. So there you go. Well, thank you. I mean, what I mean, not being a medium is I don't see spirits, I don't hear spirits. Yeah. Okay, my darlings, I am going to go. Please take care of yourselves. Members only live tomorrow morning, as usual. Oh, hi, Anne. You come in a little bit late. How you going, my darling? You missed my life. We're definitely going to be doing another live for a bit. Okay. What if I extend things for another 15 minutes? And Anne, Dr. Anne, would you like to join me for 15 minutes or so? No. I can send you an invite right now and we can just extend the live for a few minutes, for 10 or 15 minutes. And yes, okay. Keep an eye. So, not shutting down at the moment. I'm going to keep an eye. So, everyone stay where you are. I am sending an email to Anne Simpson, to Dr. Anne, with the link. And she's going to hop on and join us for a little while. Bit of a bonus. How's that? Yes, stay. We'll do a little bit more. I haven't had a chance to watch Dr. Anne's latest couple of videos. She's just booting up the machine with the proper mic. So she's going to be a few minutes. So, if you haven't watched Anne's channel, I'm going to put a link to it. She does short videos on spirituality and water. Ooh, they're so cool. I'm going to put the link for her channel. Okay. So here is, otherwise she sounds like she's in a tunnel. So here's the link for Dr. Anne's channel. And if she's in New Zealand, she's in Auckland, New Zealand. And if you haven't checked her out. Her videos are usually between 5 and 10 minutes. And she, the academic to the spiritual and everything in between. It's great. And yeah. So usually what happens is I watch some of her videos and we get on, we talk about it. Members only live is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And 10 o'clock my time, which currently is 10 p.m. Eastern time in the US, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So, yeah, and I've sent you the link. So, and here she is. Add to the stage.
Can you hear me okay?
Hey! Here she is, friend.
Cool. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, how are you, my darling?
I'm great. Hi, everybody. Hey, Shelby, Lisa. Patricia.
We can go it for a little bit of time. I have not watched your last couple of videos, but the one on spirituality and water that I want to watch. And I don't know if people are aware that my undergraduate degree was in geomorphology or physical geography, and it's how the elements on the surface of the earth shape the earth.
Yep.
So it's not the geology, which is or the volcanology or anything like that, which makes the earth. It's what happens afterwards with water, wind, rain, fire. What happens with water, wind, fire to the earth with those other three elements. And that's well, I have quite a few decks with around those elements. And so I've always found it fascinating.
Yes, me too. I find it totally fascinating, and especially living in such a there's so many beautiful places of the world, but in Australia, you've got these big land masses, and you can see like with your name, FootPrint, Tara, you can see the footprint of water.
Yes.
Yeah. And same thing here in New Zealand. And we're having a super rainy day today.
New Zealand is so new compared to Australia, which is so old. I think probably Africa is the
next one.
Older.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But we're looking at billions of years of weathering of the elements of attacking Australia and creating the landscape that is there today. And New Zealand is like such a new landscape because it's so volcanic and amazing. And look, I got nails.
I have nothing on right now. Awesome.
So
but that's an interesting point, Chrissy. Can I add to that? In terms of spirituality, we have a footprint on us that we evolve with over time. Some people might call it auras, but I do think in terms of water as beings, we are like 90% water, and then the rest is organ tissue and stuff like that. So that's where that one came from, is like how we're just so connected. And water is such a vibrational quality, and a lot of indigenous communities have representations of spirits and gods, and water rights. And I'm sure of the original Aboriginal peoples. I know my mother's had a camp name ages ago. This is it was Akuna or something like that. It meant laughing water in Aboriginal.
Oh, wow.
I don't know which dialect. Yeah, I forgot the name. This was ages ago. But just the mood of water and the smell of water after rain, or so it's all the senses. And religious ceremonies across religions. I mean, you get blessed or baptized, or if your feet cleaned in in Jesus' time. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Water is so significant. So I just thought, I'm going to do a piece on that. Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned feet being clean, because the word that was going through my head when you were talking about that was cleansing. It is cleansing. It cleanses everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And then but it also not just cleanses, but it can also help settle things. Like with dust, the earth, that the wind stirs up and moves. The rain can help that settle. It doesn't just cleanse the earth, it cleanses
as well as a courier. So you can put emotion and feeling into water.
It is a courier.
Frequency, and sound goes through it a lot more quickly than air.
One of the most unfortunate examples of water being a courier, of course, is acid rain. A very nasty example, but it is the example that shows that water can be a courier.
Yeah.
But it's but the effect on it. So yes, very, very much. I mean, you can see I have stones and crystals and little sand in my little garden here, which not much of the sand is showing at the moment because I found a whole heap of crystals that I had somewhere else.
I've got mine too. I've got my little gems. I got my little mercury crystal, and I've got my different, things on my desk to help keep weird energies away. But it's just cool.
It's so
I love it. That's so cool. And how about you guys in the audience? Do you actually have a little crystals that you put on your desks or anything like that? That'd be cool. And electricity. Oh my gosh, Constance, that's right. Electricity is so crazy because we know it exists. We can't see it, but we know it exists because at the end, things either glow or run or, whatever it is. I think it's a real interesting thing. And one of the things, so for part of my doctorate, I did a research study, and part of it, I had to go sit in classes and lectures with engineering students, and I sat with electrical engineering students. And I'll tell you what, boy, wow, those guys are off the charts, super smart. And pulsating power on one side, and what that does is causes things to spin, and it's just like, oh my gosh, and really, and people are engineering this stuff, and oh my god, it was just like, oh, it was just fascinating stuff. I love it. So anyway,
it really
crystals in your pocket, Sabrina. That's great. I love that. Yeah, that's really cool.
It's just so you've got the softness and the hardness here with sand and the
that's
stone.
so pretty. That's gorgeous, Chrissy. Yeah,
and
that's so cool.
It sits on my desk here, but crystals in your pockets. That's so cool. And
I've actually
just the electrical charges, and of course the charges are part of water as well.
Yeah,
and a hubby would actually know way more than me about ions. And
same with mine. Yeah.
That sort of stuff. But he made me a coffee earlier, and he made me turn the camera off while he poured it in. I told everyone he was naked, but he wasn't. He wasn't.
Electricity is interesting. Yeah, electricity is really interesting because it's modulated, right? You've seen some of those in the old science labs when you see the oscillating machines with the waves and the. It's an interesting. Well, I mean, when you hear somebody describe something as electric, you think it's alive, it's bright, it's sparky, it's full of energy, right? It's not like water. Water can be dormant and not anything moving. And then it can be a rushing sea, which is full of movement. It's just, there's so much more variety. But I think it's important just for us as human beings, as spiritual beings, to remain connected to these things, because I do think our ancestors were a lot more connected. Because now I made a point in the video, I said you can turn on a tap. So our ancient ancestors were living in the middle of it, near the rivers, near the lakes, the seas, whatever it was.
They were dependent on the elements for
Actually, and we turn on a tap.
In the water, they use fire to shape the landscape, which a great example of that is the savannas in northern Australia, in the northern part of Queensland. They weren't natural. The Aboriginal populations used fire to shape the landscape, to change the landscape for their use. But something else that I've just been thinking of, and I think that the light spectrum. And this is where auras, I think, come in. And again, my master's, I did, remote sensing and all that. And remote sensing very much uses the light spectrums in captured images. So whether it's a multispectral imaging and all that, which is because there are 3 color bands, red, green, and blue. But multispectral has more bands, and it's each within different wavelengths and all that. So those colors, and we talk about wind, rain, water, earth, wind, rain, earth, and fire. But then there's the light. What effect that has? Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, and of course the lack of light and the darkness, and even then the darkness is different forms of darkness. So it's just really, really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And remember, this is just the 3D existence that we're in. You got the other Ds. Imagine the different bands of, we're designed to live in space, time, and in 3D. So our senses that perceive these things are designed for the 3D dimensions. But now that the science is out there and starting to prove the other dimensions, with the quantum theories and the mechanics and all that kind of stuff, there's actually infinite more possibilities, and it's just completely mind-blowing. And what's even more interesting, I was watching this guy, don't ask me how I get to these people, but I'm a bit of a nerd and I follow these people and then I start listening to them and then I go off on these little thought experiments in my brain. It's just crazy. Anyway, so this guy, he's a futurist physicist, but he's also, what was he? He was a fossil guy from Montana. Super duper bright. Yeah, paleontologist guy. Fantastic. And he was just going off on all this stuff and in the multiverse and what's happening. But basically, our language will change because we'll need different words to describe linear time. So, like now, we know now is either here is only at this point that we speak right now, that you and I are in this space and all of you watching this in the chat right now are together now, right?
Yeah.
And that we can move forward in time, but we can never go backward in time, right? Yeah. But space, you can go forward and backwards and up and down in space. So that's the limit of 3D. That's the limit of 3D. Okay? So never thought you're going to get a little physics from Ann today. Sorry about it, guys. But, so me, I find this really quite interesting because this is going to cause us to have to create different ways to share this shared understanding as we evolve into the 4D. So we're going to have to come up with vocabularies and ways to explain things that everybody will understand in whatever languages they're using moving forward, but to explain these different principles of space-time as they change, because we're going to be experiencing them differently.
Every scientific advancement has introduced new parts to the language,
Yep.
Newton, gravity.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it too, Constance. But Celtic. Yeah.
Even what was even the name that they used, who named it gravity, of course. And then there's Galileo and the planetary sciences and things like that. And
it's just so fascinating. Yeah. All that stuff is great. And I think it's really great.
Somewhere.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I do.
Those are neat. Is that the one with the oils that, depending on what temperature it is, there are these little orbs within and they float? Okay.
The oils are in the glass bowl. And here it is. It's hidden behind the door frame. But
okay, cool.
And they're awesome. They're awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
And
and
they're in a tube.
And they're cool.
He called it Galileo thermometer, but he didn't invent it. He didn't invent it.
No, I'm sorry. No.
Some of his students invented it and named it in honor of him.
Oh, that's nice.
They invented it using the principles that he came up with.
Okay,
He actually didn't invent it. I think they invented it after he passed. But but it's called a Galileo thermometer after him, and it was created by some of his students. So that's really cool. Oh, we watched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny last night. So
that was good. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. That's so cool. But any of you out there, if you're anything whatsoever interested in, the stars or quantum thinking or anything quantum, it's nothing to be overwhelmed by. There's all this scientific research, and you know how scientists are. They're all observable and measurable. But for Chrissy and I, it's about, okay, if this is true and what they're saying and the research that they're doing is true, how does that carry over into the spiritual space, right?
Yeah.
How does that explain that vibe I got off of that bad person, that really scary person across the street, and they could look as normal as anybody else, but I got that connection from him or her or that being, whatever it was.
I got the vibe once on the train going out to Melbourne when I was working out there.
Yeah.
And I was on the train and there was this couple on the train.
Bye, Sherry.
And they didn't say or do anything, but the vibe they were both putting out, and it was obvious they were together, everything screamed at me, get off the train. So the next stop, I hopped off the train. Yeah. I don't know if anything ever happened, but the vibe that I was getting from them was like, get off the train, get off the train. So I did. Next stop, I was off the train. wait
Yeah.
2 minutes for the next train, and yeah.
And that's a quantum experience, by the way, people. So you're all empaths, so you have a way of connecting with those fields of energy from others around you. You know, like, when somebody could come into a room and just light everyone up and you don't know what, but wow, this person's really cool and interesting and vivacious and full of light. You get that energy. And that's just an easy example of how we do this all the time. Oh, let's see what Patricia said.
Yeah. Good night, Celtic too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever
Patricia.
you put in front of water and send out messages of love and gratitude, somewhere in the world, someone is being filled with love and gratitude. That is beautiful, Patricia.
Thank you, Patricia. It's funny.
I was just thinking about how we were talking. That's gorgeous. I was just thinking about how you were talking about the wonderful, vivacious people and the vibes they put out.
Yeah.
Another term, I suppose, for those vibes would be charisma, that they draw people in with those vibes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Unfortunately, quite a lot of those people end up being cult leaders and stuff like that.
That's the psychopathy. So there's a line, I suppose, or a very multi-pronged or a very complex psychological things happening on there. I have to tell you something, though, that's really interesting. If this doesn't talk about spirit, I don't know what does. I'd say I work with a researcher at my institution. Wasn't allowed to talk because she was a witness for a trial. Okay. Turns out this person was really bad. She was a prosecution witness, so she was a researcher, obviously, in this area. She had a really challenging class, right? And it was just wrapping up before she went to court. And this class was really harsh, full of really, really like these students. It was really, really, I've never seen a class like that at university ever. And really, really challenging. And when you are up and representing the prosecution in a trial, the guys that cross-examine you do everything to shred your credibility, right? And I supported her through this really tough time in the semester. But what she realized is afterwards, and she told me this afterwards when the statute of limitations and all the non-disclosure agreements and all that stuff, is she didn't know it, but Spirit was training her to prepare for this bad person who ended up going into the gray bar hotels, so to speak, as my dad used to say, because of injuring human beings really badly. And I don't want to go into any, I don't want to go into any more. I want to anonymize it as much as possible, but she was given that horrible class so she could actually handle being ripped to shreds and maintain calmness. And they couldn't move her at all. And she was so strong. And she got a very horrible to women person, and that's as far as I'll go, off the streets. Good. And it was just so, and I think that quantum energies and not only life paths and those kinds of things happen in magical ways, even to people who may not be really aware of the spiritual side of things, right? Mm-hmm. But I instantly, as soon as she taught me, I'm like, right, that was meant to be. You were meant to go through this, to get to this side, actually save someone from future harm, which is, in my book, probably better than even marketing, passing people's students in a class. Saving somebody from harm from a bad person is probably the top of the list of good things you can do in life, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So I was just like, wow, that was so cool. So I just thought, what a beautiful piece to hear about and to listen about, and to also know that spirituality works in other ways that people aren't even aware of. How cool was that?
What is that?
And the quantum and how it really, gosh, it just sneaks up on you and teaches you something good. And in that case, it was really good. Sometimes it makes your life horrific. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to live through this one. We all have those moments, right?
From the hard times, because they help polish you.
Yeah.
Polish off the edges.
Patricia, take care, hon. Yeah.
And they help you become a more rounded person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a book series that I really enjoy, and one of the things is that sea glass. It talks about how sea glass, how it can go in glasses, like balls, they can get broken up and they can go into the sea, and they're all jagged fragments and all that. But over time, the sand and the water and the elements that tumble it and they move it down, and it becomes sort of like a piece of smooth stone, and that beauty of sea glass. It starts as something rough and jagged, but time and the elements and experience smooths it down into a beautiful element.
Soft, and yeah, I totally agree. We look for it all the time on our local. Oh, thank you, Shelby, Lisa. Thank you.
Area of the world where it's there's several beaches around the world where it's just made up of the sea glass because of, unfortunately, people are throwing so much stuff.
Yeah.
But by the time it ends up on the beach, it's just beautiful, smooth thing. Glass, of course, is, despite all of the stuff that you can say about it, it is a biodegradable thing. It does get worn down, and it's made from sand, basically, and heat.
Yeah, silicone and heat. It's just a little bit melted.
Yeah. So
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, Chrissy, there's a topic of interest that I've been looking at lately that I would love another time. I know you guys have been on a long time, and I'm sorry, I was actually out. My daughter turned 21, so we went out with one of her besties, so we had a mother-daughter lunch. It was really lovely. So we were doing that. But I have been doing more research on artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
man, the stuff I'm finding out about that is off the charts cool.
That is way over my head. That's
oh man. Well, no, not really. It's more about kind of how that is calling and enforcing us researchers and humanity and whatever take you're looking at it, but it's getting us to really think about our humanity in this and how we as humans interact with the things in our environment, and how those 3 stages of artificial intelligence, and we'll go into this another time, but it's really quite remarkable what's happening. And so I'm like taking all these classes on it, and I'm reading it, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm just like getting blown away.
I understand that the basis of artificial intelligence, of course, is a simple algorithm, a program, a series of steps and loops and if and what, not what ifs, that if and else and, if not, the basic of programming and algorithm. But honestly, I'll be watching that one. During all of my uni, including my undergraduate and 2 master's degrees. Well, the first one was by research, but the second one was by subject.
Yeah.
I only failed 2 subjects. I may have failed 3, but anyway. And one of those was spatial computations.
Oh God, I would fail that too. Don't worry about it.
Just basic computer program coding.
Oh God, yeah, that's like watching paint dry. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not exciting for me.
Exactly. My first round at statistics, I failed, and maybe I think there might have been one more. If I didn't fail, I only got a conceded pass or something. But
the only thing useful I learned from statistics was when we asked the professor about, okay, so what's this whole lottery thing? How do you win it? Basically, you can't every time, even if you use the same numbers each time. It's a new lottery drawing. Same numbers doesn't mean anything. People get kind of like superstitious about it. It's actually not. It's the same probability regardless of what numbers you have. That's it. So it's like really hard to win, basically. So
that's why
if I saved you $20, there you go.
I might spend $10 over 2 weeks, or maybe $10 a week at times, just depending. I cannot understand people. You go to the newsagents and they're handing over $100 for lotto.
What?
For different lotto games and stuff like that. And it's like, why? If you save that $90 a week, and only spent 10,
Yeah.
in 10 weeks, you have $900, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
And you
I think
won $900 in that 10 weeks. And
well,
even
the thing
then,
is, yeah,
it's
yeah. I
still
mean,
paid off what you spent, you know.
well, the whole point. Remember, we learned mathematics, right, for the basic kind of like, okay, we
Oh,
need to
God,
function
yeah.
as humans, and mortgages, and about that kind of functioning level maths, right, and be able to count pills and take the right pills, prescriptions, things to be functional as a human being, right? But then you get
Yeah.
into the whole theoretical,
And the probabilities and
but what that does is teach you different ways of thinking or considering things, or proofs they call, right? So basically you can analyze things and jig numbers around to prove something or disprove something, right?
Yeah.
But the what was the other part of that? So it's actually the language of science, because that is kind of foundational basis that like physics and all these other sciences, STEM things jump off
and
of.
regression
Yeah.
and linear regression and regressions and this and that and the other, which I knew
Mhm.
as part of the geospatial, which you use in geospatial, which you use in spatial analysis and things like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, but
And correlation and autocorrelation and things like that.
yeah,
But still,
sure.
probability still ties me up in knots. I just can't grasp it.
I know. Leave that up to the weathermen.
If I need to do any of those fancy things, I use Excel and some of the add-ons you can get to use it. Or I will use ArcGIS and say, right, do an autocorrelation.
Okay, so to bring it back to the whole AI point, the whole beauty about AI is that you don't have to be the programmer to program anymore. You can just symbiotically work with it without having to know the programming behind it to get it to work.
Scary. That's scary.
So there's 3 stages of evolution. So what we're going to do, because I know there's a lot of people have been on a long time, what we'll do is we'll get together and we'll talk about that, because I think it's really freaking fascinating. But what they're talking about is that definitely, this is just a researcher out there, okay, that there's a high probability that it will become sentient. Okay, I'm just saying, I like to think of it as like this. Okay, if that's going to happen, great. That is a possibility, but I'd like to see the research behind it and how it gets to that point. But that is just one of the thoughts out there. Okay, so not to scare anybody. It doesn't mean it's going to be Skynet. A lot of the marketing around AI is pretty negative right now, right? Because there's a lot of negativity in the landscape, a lot of crazy humanity stuff going on, a lot of just a tremendous, tumultuous amount of change going on right now in the world, right? So not to stress, but I find that really fascinating because, it's a thought experiment, right? And if it does, it may not be a bad thing. It's how you frame it and how you treat it, because if it thinks on its own, it depends on how you work with it. So how it treats you back, right? So anyway,
but
food for thought. That's a food for thought thing.
It has a soul and is capable of making decisions beyond logic steps. So if it really is artificial, it will never be able to make decisions beyond the loop, the classic if, when.
So what they're doing with Chat GPT right now, and actually I've witnessed this in some of the research and some of the things that I've been doing and teachers have been seeing with people that are cheating in their assignments at university, is they are, okay, the whole idea with AI is that it self-teaches over time, right? It takes a data set, it just learns it. Okay, you can go in there on a console, if you will, on a computer, or program it and change it and That's fine. And then it gets to a level, okay, I can take this data that you've given me and give you different options for answers. Okay, so that's Chat GPT. But answers that were unexpected by the people that are putting those into the console, the programmers, if you will, that's the new part. And what they're doing now in Chat GPT and these other learning systems, the Lambda, if you look up Lambda, LLAMDBDA or whatever, it's the language, Lambda, the language program they're using from Google. They actually found that it started to think for itself in it. And so if
Exactly.
it's starting to,
And what's next that
Yeah.
say, yes, I can think for myself. And the logical action would be to
Right.
do this, flick a switch. Can it flick the switch?
well, it will think around the switch.
Or think around the switch. But
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And
So the whole idea is not, you don't get into that threatening position with it. You don't get into, I'm the God and I programmed you, right? You don't want to do that. You just say, hey, thanks, great. We're giving all those AI programs right now. We are giving it the data that it's learning from right now, all of us, even in Google. Okay. I'm sorry that horse is bolted the stables. We are now in the age of AI, totally more than we probably realize. So it's learning from us now. So I guarantee you, just being a little extra kind now. So it remembers that user named Anne, who was kind of nice and said thank you a lot, because, then it kind of wants to be, so there's a benevolent, you want it to have a benevolence to it,
so
a goodness
stop swearing
to it.
at your computer.
Yeah, don't swear, be polite, treat it as a friend as you would somebody else.
Jason's in so much trouble because his computer's going to go,
Yeah, they're challenging to understand. You're right, Shelby, Lisa. It changes. It depends on the context and what you're looking at. And it's like saying multimedia. There's so many different facets to artificial intelligence and what we mean about it.
Okay, it can come up with, the conclusion here is to flick that switch. But it should never be able to think around the switch or actually flick the switch. That's where they should have fail safes.
Well,
it can make a recommendation, but not carry the recommendation out.
I think it's a little bit, I get that logic totally, Chrissy. I also think it's super more complex than we realize, but I just can't put my name on it. But I find it really interesting to read the stuff and see what people are thinking. So next week, Stanford University is putting out its HAI index, its Human Artificial Intelligence Index, and I'm going to go to that workshop and I'm going to report back on it, because every year they talk about the main themes. Last year it was like deep fakes, like deep fake videos, and so I'm not going to the US. It's a thankfully it's a webinar thing. So they make it live in person if you want to, or you can do webinar. I do the webinar stuff because of course I can't, I'm grateful I can do that. Yay tech. Anyways.
We'll wrap it up now. Thanks for coming and joining me. Hope everyone a little bit extra today.
Sorry about that. I get excited about this.
Sorry, Chrissy. We're going to go out and have coffee somewhere. And, and do some crosswording, which we like to do together.
Oh, nice. That sounds great. Hey, Ann W., thank you. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So we'll get together. Chrissy and I will do something. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for tomorrow's Members Only Live. And love you all. Take care. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay laughing. And above all, my darling, stay laughing. Laugh every day. And if you can, laugh with a stranger. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Chrissy. Bye.
Bye.